All right, good morning, everybody. So today I want to show you how to make really skinny lines and small dots and like uber tiny dots. Okay, because these work really great for when you're doing a layered bowl. So when you're showing different layers, being able to have those really thin pieces, because when you layer it, it kind of squishes flat, right? So you want to have your clay nice and conditioned. So you want it to be soft. And really, if you're trying to make something small, you want to start with something small. So don't have like some giant chunk of clay. Like if I tried to roll all of this out at once, that wouldn't work. So I'm just going to use this really small piece of clay, and I'm going to work on top of a piece of paper. You can put the tin foil under the paper, but for this one, you actually do want a piece of paper. And it really doesn't matter what kind of paper it is. Like it could be lined paper, whatevs, it doesn't matter. But you're going to use your finger to kind of roll it. And you want to kind of go back and forth. So like this side right now is really skinny compared to that side. So that's because I rolled that way. Now I'm rolling the other way. And then every so often you want to stop and look and be like, okay, well this part's a little bit thicker. So I'm going to do right here. But like the edge is really skinny. So I'm not going to quite go all the way to the edge. And if it starts to get too long and it's hard to roll, like if I was going to go much skinnier than this, then I would just cut it, because it's going to keep getting longer. And the longer it gets, the more difficult it is to keep it nice and even and going. So here I go. I'm going to make it skinnier and skinnier and skinnier until I can't skinny it anymore. And it's actually the paper gives it just enough. Like if I tried to do this on my tabletop like I do everything else, it wouldn't actually work. The tabletop doesn't have the right kind of grippiness that that this paper does. So it's really the paper that kind of helps you get to that super skinny, crazy thin coil of clay. So here I go. Look at how skinny this is. So that's like crazy skinny. That almost looks like, you know, a thick pencil line, right? So I could, if I wanted to, I could take another small chunk off of here and I could keep going and try to get as skinny as I possibly can. And like I said, because it's on the paper, I can keep going. I'll get to a certain point though, where it's just like, wow, that's kind of silly. And I would have to use like my needle tool to move it around. But you can see, even just doing that, I have like 3 different thicknesses of hecka skinny little lines, right? So now for dots, you can do kind of the same thing. So whenever I make dots, like it's actually really hard to like pull off clay and make equal sized dots by just pulling a chunk of clay off of the, you know, big chunk. So what I do is I actually roll a coil first, like so. And then I use the coil, make sure that use the needle tool, make sure the tip of the needle tool is cleaned off. You can just use your fingers like that. Or I like to keep a tissue or like I don't know, like a little towel or something next to me so I can wipe my fingers off or my tool off. And then I'm just gonna cut little pieces that are all the same. And once I cut the pieces all the same, then I can just kind of go whoop and roll it into a ball. Whoop, roll it into a ball. Sometimes it comes out as an oval and then you just gotta get it a little bit more. But this takes some of the guesswork out for making it equal sized, just by kind of having where you know this is all the same thickness, and cutting off, you know, equal parts. It just makes it easier to make a little teeny one. Now you can do like really teeny ones, or you could do bigger ones. So like if I had a slightly larger coil, or if I just want to cut larger pieces, I could make equal sized larger little pieces, little spheres, or I could make smaller little spheres. But like, see how when I cut this, it left a little mark on the paper? That's part of why we don't want to do it on top of your table unless you own the table, right? So there's some little equidistant ones. Now, if I want to go like crazy small, I can still do that with a little, I just want to make the coil really even. And see, since I was kind of messing around there and I was like, oh, I can do this, and I didn't do both sides at the same time, it was actually kind of hard to make that one piece a little bit skinny. Okay, so all right, there we go. Go over there. All right, so now I have this one that's super skinny. So I could do the same thing. It's just when you get like super teeny like this, it's a little bit harder to get it off of your needle tool. So sometimes you just need to like roll it with your finger and roll it off of the needle tool. And then sometimes you still need the needle tool to get it back off. So that kind of came out as a little bit of a line. If I was using this for a layered bowl, when I flattened it, I just make sure that I tilted it up a little bit so that when it was flat, it would be round, or I can just round it out. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so I made some like hecka tiny, some pretty tiny, and some small, right? So that's how you make the different sizes of coils and different sizes of equal sized little spheres. All right, thanks everybody.